Our purpose today is to create an introduction using a personal anecdote as a hook. A personal anecdote is a story, in this case personal, to connect the reader on a human level to the topic at hand. We will be able to break the rule of I and me, but only for this section of the paper, and then we will transition back into the formal usage of a third person. Okay, so I have my thesis. I've used our frame to create it. Our thesis reads, the U.S. federal government should increase funding for cancer research due to the prevalence of the disease, the government's culpability in its prevalence, and the disproportionately allotted dollars spent on other programs. So we're going to start then with our hook, and in this case, we're talking about cancer, and I have a personal connection. All right, so I'm going to start my hook now. And I'm going to talk about my personal experience. In 2006, that was the year I was diagnosed. Oh, I see I have underline here. Turn that off real quick. Just 6 months after giving birth to my first child, I received the diagnosis that every woman fears: breast cancer. All right, a personal anecdote is it's used to create pathos in your paper, and so I don't think I've done enough of that yet. So I'm going to add in how old I was at that time, because I think that's really powerful in my case. In 2006. At the age of 24. And then I'm going to continue on. All right, so now I need to make a connection between what my situation is and then how am I going to get to the federal government. So I was fortunate, but why was I fortunate? So fortunately for me, extensive research has already taken place in this field, specifically stem cell research. Which provided me with a number of options for treatment. Now I need to connect my thesis. So I'm going to briefly take a look at my transition suggestions. If I look at this frame here, I can see that depending on what type of hook I'm using, I have different potential frames. And this isn't the only way to go, but it's one way. So I'm going to use one of these here with the anecdote. And I'm going to add in here, although this is one example, my story is not necessarily the rule. How so? So keep explaining. And I'm transitioning back into my third person here. For millions every year, cancer claims their lives due to insufficient monies granted toward research in cancer prevention and treatment. And I see I have a spelling error. Cancer. Oh, goodness. So now I need a short transition to get me into my thesis. Can't just tack it on there, so I'm going to use consequently. Pull that up and call that good.